Hey guys, Rachele here with Amethyst Ascension, and I wanted to do a really quick video on some of the modifications that I have just recently done on a few of my decks, and just talking about modification in general. So my journey with the tarot has been just over a year now, and the first modification that I did was the Druid Craft, which I'll actually show you that one too, but it wasn't a recent one. But I've actually modified quite a few of my decks. This is how this turned out. I cut them down, took the trim around the edge off, and then I edged them in a green. I absolutely love how they look now. So much better. They're so much easier to shuffle because of being smaller. So much simpler. I love it when the art goes all the way to the edge. There are some decks that I like with the trim, depending on the trim and the way it looks, but normally I don't. So the first one that I want to show you, I did not trim this one. This is my Light Seers Tarot. It is the Hay House Mass Market version. And so I just edged it in a dark green. I think it looks really good. And I don't know if you can see it, but it's a little bit, some of them are taller than others. Not very, very much. However, you could see it more when these were just like the whiter edge. You know, the like linen stock or whatever. Not linen stock, but just seeing the raw edge of the cardstock. This way, with them being all green like this, you really can't tell too much. I mean, it definitely looks more, everything looks really good. So I'm really pleased with how these turned out. I really could not be happier. So that's one that I want to show you. The Tarot of the She is the next one that I wanted to show you. So I will put up in the corner the card if you want to, with the link to the actual walkthrough and review that I did of this deck, if you want to see what they looked like before. But now I cut them down to where there's just the black on the top, black on the bottom, you know, for the numbers and for the words of what they are. I love how they turned out. I edged them after cutting them down with the black. And now look at how beautiful that is when you fan it out. Is that not friggin' amazing? And it only cut off just a little bit of the last row of the great glyph. So it doesn't even bother me. And I like that it did that. So now you can see that when I fan them out like that, you can see it on the card where you couldn't before it was all black. So I love that it did that feature as well. And I just cut inside. You see with this one here, there is a purple line. Well, there was a purple line that goes all the way around it. So I cut the purple line. I used that as my guide on all of them. I completely cut that off on all of them so that there's only the purple on the top and the bottom. I am so pleased with how this turned out. It's still a little bit longer, but so much easier to shuffle. And if I want to do this, let's see. This is still a struggle because these are still a little bit longer. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. But that's quite all right. I don't need to shuffle them like that. A lot of times I will, I will do like a side-by-side shuffle. I think it was referred to like as a waterfall or a cascade. And that's much easier to do in that form. So I loved how this turned out. I am very pleased with it. Very, very pleased with it. The last one I did show briefly on my live today that I did with Brooke. This is the Thoth deck. I really could not stand the borders. I'm not sure if I even did a walkthrough. I mean, I did one, but I'm not sure if I put it out yet. I don't think I put it out yet. So, I'll just show you actually what the backs look like. This was like an extra card that was put in it. That was the front. So you can see it has the white border all the way around it. And the white border around the back. I love it so much better without the border. And the same as the other one. I left the top and the bottom for all of them. I love it so much better with the art going all the way to the edge. Absolutely. And I am not super familiar with this deck, so I definitely did not want to cut off the numbers or the names. So, and then I edged it in the red, which I thought that it just looked stunning. I love it. So much easier to handle. So I want to show you, these are what I used in order to edge them, okay? They're the chisel tip, so it looks like that. It's a little bit easier to control it. And these are Sharpie markers. And I think I got this whole set, well, maybe not one of those, but that whole set for like $9.99, I think. So it wasn't super expensive. And that's the red that I used. That's the green that I used. And the green for the Druid Craft was that one. And then, of course, the black that I used for that one. Sometimes you got to go around a couple of times because these, they just like soaked them in. I had to go on these a few different times. Definitely, if you were doing edging, don't, this is where I made a mistake on one of my early edits or modifies. I'm like, I wonder, can I just take it across? Don't do that. Actually, take one card and do one card at a time. Otherwise, you'll be making a mistake. Another thing that you can use for your edging can be ink pads. And these are a bit more forgiving. You just simply run the card, and I'm not going to actually do it because I've already got it. Run it. And with a Sharpie marker, you want to be extremely careful because Sharpie is a lot less forgiving and it instantly dries, okay? Whereas these, you can still run your finger along the edge or run a tissue along the edge or something in order to wipe off any of the excess, and it'll only go onto the edge. So these are definitely a lot more forgiving, especially when you're brand new at that, okay? So I also want to show you what I use. I just use a simple little, it's 4 inches this way and probably 6 inches this way. Little guillotine Fiskars. I'm sure I got this probably on Amazon. If I did and I can find it, because I can't remember for sure if I did, but if I can find it or something comparable, I'll put a link down below for you. And then I got this corner rounder from Amazon. Excuse me. And it's called, you see that there? Katamaru Pro. And it's got your small, medium, and large size. So you can determine what size rounding that you want. I normally use the small because I like them more squared off, but still rounded. So I know I got this on Amazon. If I can still find the link, I will post that down below as well. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments for me. But otherwise, yeah, I just wanted to show you what I do for modifying. The reason why I like to modify is, for one, I have short, stubby fingers, okay? So it's not always so easy when you're dealing with larger decks, especially when they're longer this way and then they're wider this way, to actually get a good handle. So something like this, it's much easier for me to handle because it's not as far away. Or if I wanted to shuffle it like this, I still can, and it's not as difficult. Okay. Another reason is because I like to make it more aesthetically pleasing for myself, to my own taste. And I like it when the art goes all the way to the edge. It is easier for me to feel drawn into the card and see everything without being distracted. Plus, I like the looks of them when they're fanned, when they go all the way to the edge. And vice versa on the back sides. I like that much better. But ultimately, also, I like it because you are spending quality time with your deck doing each and every card individually in order to bond your energies. And while you're doing it, I mean, especially because I was using, you know, the edge, this purple line, so I can inspect every single card as I'm doing it. And that gives me just more familiarity with my deck, right? It gives you just a little bit more time with your deck. And you're just mixing your energy, that motion, that action. So there you have it, guys. I hope you found this useful and at the very least entertaining. And if you have any questions about modifying, please just leave them down in the comments. And I will, you know, answer if I can. And I'm sending you all love and light. Thank you.